Allison, I'm glad to be talking to you today. We've had a few interviews, right? Today I thought we could concentrate on business and career. Of course, that's actually why I met you, and so it's a little close to my heart because you've helped me and I still need help in business and career. For my first question, it's very simple. How can the philosophy of maybe help in business and career?
Okay. Well, we all have goals in life. We all have things that we want to do, things that we want to accomplish. And sometimes life doesn't go exactly as we plan because we write these stories. We write these stories of how life needs to be for us to be successful. But what's really happening is that life has a lot of uncertainty in it, and life will keep unfolding. And when we forget that, it's very hard for us to continue to pursue the things we want in life because we believe things aren't happening, things aren't going to change. Look, this didn't work out. I didn't get this job. I didn't land this client. But if we could just shift how we're seeing it, we could stay open. And I have to tell you something, I think we could also achieve more of our goals. And that's where the idea of maybe comes in. Because what maybe says is that within this field of uncertainty, there are these possibilities. And within these possibilities, maybe whatever you're experiencing will change. Maybe it'll be good or maybe it'll get better. And when you're trying to achieve a goal, especially in business or your career, with this idea of maybe, it constantly opens you up. It opens you up to that there are other possibilities other than the one that you fear the most. So it's very, very helpful for people in business. And
do you have a specific example like that we can all relate to?
Well, what was really interesting is when the economy fell in September 2008. I mean, I had a lot of clients that were dealing with maybe, and they were successful and getting new clients and dealing with little stresses here and there. But all of a sudden, when the economy totally collapsed and the stock market collapsed, everything that people knew would work before was no longer working. And it left them in this really uncertain place because the way that they had done sales, the products that they sold, everything was all mixed up. The credit lines were tight. They couldn't get the money that they had before. So it was a really interesting time to embrace maybe. And I remember I had one client that actually has a store in the middle of Manhattan, beautiful store. He sells artisan lamps and vintage furniture. And he called me to a store one day. It was a couple of months after the crash. And I had no idea what was going on with him. And he said to me, Allison, I haven't paid my rent in 3 months. Oh. And for me, it was unbelievable because I had been working with him for 10 years. Sales were great and business was growing, but things just changed. People were not buying. And he's like, Allison, I don't know what to do. He goes, I'm so stuck. I have all this furniture here. He goes, I just want to go back to France and give it all up. And I said, Jean-Philippe, I said, and for a moment, even I got started. I'm like, Jean-Philippe, I'm like, you're going to give everything up? He goes, I can't do it anymore. Everything I knew is gone. And I said, wait. I said, let's slow down. Let's wait. Let's breathe. Let's take a breath. And we just stopped. And I said, Jean-Philippe, maybe there's another way. Maybe there's something else other than the thing that you fear the most. Maybe there's another way to do business. Like, can't we pause? Can't we just take a step back and open up to other possibilities in your life? And he at first was very resistant. And so we did this visualization. And I literally had him sitting in his office with this idea that this door in front of his face was this idea he'd have to go back to France. And I said, how does it make you feel? He says, it makes me feel nervous, it makes me feel terrible, and it makes me feel unhappy. And then I said, okay, let's take this other door. This other door is you filing bankruptcy. How does that make you feel? It makes me feel horrible. I don't want to do that. I love this business. I love my life.
Right.
And I said, okay, Jean-Philippe, now pull away the doors. Pull away what's there. There's all this open space. Maybe there's another way. Mm-hmm. Maybe if we just take the time and the space and we believe that other things are possible for you, maybe there's another way for you to stay in business. And he said, okay, Allison. He goes, let me do this. Let me go home. Let me relax. I'll do that visualization and I'll call you the next day. And I'm not kidding. The next day, this guy who was so distraught and so unhappy called me up and said, Allison, he's like, I have an idea. I have a possibility. He goes, what do you think of me closing the store and keeping my internet business going? He goes, what do you think about me moving to Brooklyn and I'll negotiate things out with the landlord and maybe I can do this. Maybe I have another possibility here other than this one way that I was doing business. Right. And I have to tell you, today, he has a very successful internet business and he's still located in Brooklyn. He never moved back to the city. He ended up getting a small showroom and life opened up. But he was about to give everything up because it was no longer the way it used to be. Things had changed. And if we don't open up when change happens, it's impossible to see all the other possibilities in our life. If we open up to life, life will open up to us. So, and there were many stories like that of clients who, anybody who was willing to embrace maybe and shift to change, shift to possibility. They weathered through. I don't have one client that didn't weather through that time period. And they all practice maybe.
I mean, it's hearing an example. I mean, there you go. You're answering the question right there. It's like you don't let a wall come down.
Right.
There's other possibilities, and that gets you through. So how about if there's someone saying, I want a new career, I need a new job? How can they use maybe in that area?
Well, I often find that people have a dream. They know really what they want to do. I mean, there's some people that don't, but most people do. I want to be a director, I want to be a writer, I want to own my own business. But what happens is that when they don't see the results that they expected to see in the time they expected to see it in, that's when people start to lose faith. That's when they start to doubt themselves. And we have to know in life, just because we can't see it in the moment doesn't mean it's not happening.
Okay.
Just because you apply for 10 jobs and you don't get it doesn't mean that the next day, the next moment, something's not going to shift for you.
Okay. Is there some specific example that you have of someone looking for a new job to share with us about that new job or new career?
It happens.
I have one.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to answer my own question.
Okay.
So within using maybe, I always missed my organizing talents and decorating, and I love that. And you helped me to say, you love it. You get so excited when you talk about organizing homes and decorating homes. And I love my acting, believe me, and I'm still acting and all that. But it was something I really wanted to do, and you just said, well, maybe you can do it. And I always kept it like, and I didn't take it serious enough. And then I finally said, yeah, you know what? It's what makes me happy. And I put the energy into that, and I stayed open to maybe. And I'm actually decorating now. So you helped me. So that's something new that came into my life. But by being open to the fact that maybe I can do another business as well. Right. So it's a little example. It's not exactly you explaining everything.
But it is. It's exactly what it is, because it allowed you to engage in the possibility that life could be different, that you could make a change. So that's the first part. But also, if it didn't first work out for you exactly how you wanted to, or you didn't get a client, I mean, you got clients pretty quickly because, you're so talented, but what if you didn't? But maybe would allow you to stay open and say, okay, well, maybe this didn't work out, but maybe something else will shift. It's constantly allowing you to see there are more possibilities in my life other than what I see in front of me. Right. And that's what helps people persevere. And that's sometimes what it takes. You really have to stick with things. And if you stay open and you believe and you have hope, I say you find your way.
Say there's someone who is, they don't have a job and things are really tough. It's not just like business isn't working out, but like I'm talking, they're down in the dumps, okay? They can't pay their rent or their mortgage right now. What do they do at that part where it seems like they're distraught and there's no hope?
Okay. Well, first, there are hardships in life. Maybe does not say there are no hardships. But we have to remember that in that moment, life can change. And everything that's happened before, it's real, it's valid, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be like that tomorrow. And that's what happens. People get so tied to the past that they believe that just because it didn't work out yesterday, it's not going to work out tomorrow. And what maybe does, it just gives people that little hope, that little light to know, like, maybe my life can change. It doesn't demand it. It doesn't say life will be better tomorrow, because then if it's not better tomorrow, people are going to lose hope again. But if you say maybe, and you just start to open up more and more and more, you'll start to see more possibilities. And I'm a big believer that people can change their life if they do stay open, even when times are tough. Because I've seen a lot of people turn their lives around. It's just about continuously staying open to that possibility.
Well, within them staying open, but say at that point, what do you do when there's self-doubt? How can you use maybe to help the self-doubt?
Self-doubt is really internal. It's not external. It's not saying that things won't work out in the future. What's going to happen next? It's us doubting ourselves. I am not capable. I can't do what I thought that I was capable of doing. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. And what maybe does, what's so interesting about maybe, is it casts doubt on the doubt. Because the minute you say, maybe I can, you're not demanding it of yourself. You're not saying, I can do this. Right. You're saying, maybe I can. It's just this little opening, which allows you to contemplate having a new experience. And it just gives you a little courage to say, okay, well, maybe I'll take a class and I'll learn something new. Maybe I'll call my friend who works in the industry. Maybe they could help me out. It's just this little opening to allow us to say, maybe it's possible. And that gives us a little foundation to hold on to step onto. So it's interesting what maybe does is casting doubt on your doubt.
Okay. So is there something about people feeling like they missed an opportunity? How do you handle that when people think, oh, there was a big missed opportunity and I kind of messed up?
Well, I think that becomes a point where people really get stuck in life. That if that one thing had happened, my life would be different. Mm-hmm. I actually call it like the reverse, maybe, as if they know, because we really don't know how our lives would have looked had that thing happened. We have no idea. Would we have been successful? Would we have been at the wrong place at the wrong time? Who knows? All we know is that we're in this moment, and within this moment, there's possibilities that life can change, and that we could still find our way. And that's what maybe does. It constantly reminds us that. So I don't really believe in missed opportunities. I really believe more in maybe. I believe in possibility, that there's always this opening.
So you're telling people. But when people feel like they've missed it, you say, you don't know what could have happened with that. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe you didn't. Maybe you missed nothing. Right. You don't know. You have absolutely no idea. All you know is that here you are today with the hope and possibility that you could still find the life that you're looking for.
Well, thank you. You have been amazing, and this is just the beginning of us talking more and more about maybe in business and everything. I've had a great time, and we can always come back and talk more business, because there's so many levels to talk about that. Like, people want to hear more about you, so where do they go? Is there a website? Is there
Well, I have a blog at AllisonCarmen.com, and there are a bunch of posts about career and business, and I think that they will really be extremely helpful for people that are struggling with finding something new in their life or struggling with uncertainty. And I also have a Facebook page, and I'm hoping the book will be out in the next 6 months, the Book of Maybe.
Yes, I've read that book, and I'm waiting to buy it and open it and have a hardcover. I want that to happen soon, but it will. Maybe it will happen soon. Maybe
it will.
Anyway, you have helped me so much with Maybe in every area, and I'm still learning and trying to stick with it and embrace it more and more. So thank you for that, and I look forward to our next interview.
Thank you, Aida.